And one thing that you mentioned there was finding valid sources online.
Hmm.
Can you go into a little bit about what you mean when you say valid sources?
Yes. So you're going to make sure that you need to vet your sources. So behind all of this, we have copy editors who go back behind us and actually check all of our sources and so forth. But you're not going to use a blog, right? Because that's usually someone's opinion. Now, the only exception to that is one time I was allowed to use a blog of an astronaut who was literally in space on the ISS talking about what happened. Okay, that's very specific. You're not going to use a blog. You're not typically going to use Wikipedia or any sources where the research can be, or the input can be changed by someone. However, if you don't know where to start on a project, I do go to Wikipedia. If you go to the bottom of the page, there are legitimate sources at the bottom of the page that can get you started and you can figure it out. Of course, first person sources. So talking to people, doing interviews, those are the best. Sometimes you can't always do them, but you just want to make sure that what you're looking at can be vetted. And usually our rule is we need 3 independent sources that all say the same thing. So if there's a question, that's what the copy editors make us do. And if we can't find all 3, then we have to rewrite that sentence or take it out.
And that's something that's very that sounds like a very strict guideline writing for nonfiction. How helpful are these copy editors and the publishers in helping to attain certain sources?
So you as the author need to find all of your own sources, but the copy editor will double check it. And sometimes if they can't, then they will come up with other ones. It just kind of depends on what the copy editor's job is and so forth. The one thing that you kind of have to be careful with these days, and I'm not saying it's a negative, but you need to be careful if you're using AI of some of your sources, because like generative AI doesn't necessarily always give you the correct answer. It gives you the most used answer, or the answer that comes about the most, within all of like the history. And the problem is science can change, or we might name something that we used to call it and now we have a new name for it. So you need to make sure that your research is the most up to date and correct as possible.